Hello fam, this is Ara of Aloe by Ara, and today I'm going to be showing us how to make air fresheners in the simplest form. The ingredients are not many and the process is very direct. Between 45 minutes to 1 hour, you should be done. So I'm going to be taking us through what we're going to be needing to make our amazing air fresheners. First of all, we have our methanol. We're going to be needing about 500 ml because we're making just 2.5 liters of air fresheners. This is our clean bowl where we're going to do our mixing. We have our methanol. We have our camphor, industrial camphor. We have our whitener. We have our Texapon. Then of course the fragrance. And for those who would like to have a colorful air freshener, we have our color here. So the next step, or the next things I'm going to be telling us, is what each ingredient or material is used for and how to go about it. Lest I forget, we have our clean bowls and measuring cups and also spatula for turning. Then our clean water. Have clean water on the side. So our methanol serves as the absorbing or diluting agent. Please note that we need to be very careful when handling methanol. I'm going to show us our gloves. We're going to see the gloves I'm going to be using when I'm in the process of making the air fresheners, because it's something that shouldn't come in contact with any part of the body. It's a very dangerous chemical. Then we have our menthol crystal. Serves as a cooling or soothing agent. So when you spray your air freshener and you're kind of happy, it's giving you that refreshing vibe, this is one of the ingredients that is responsible. We have our whitener. This helps to prevent separation. When you're making your air fresheners and it's having segments, but the less dense parts are at the top, the more dense parts are at the bottom. It's going to help to hold the chemicals together. Then we have our Texapon. The Texapon is usually a foaming agent, but in this case, it's going to help our fragrance oil to be less greasy. You know that sometimes when you have your dishwashing liquid, for example, and you're washing a plate, an oily plate, a greasy plate, at some point the grease is going to leave the plate here. So this Texapon is going to make the fragrance to not have this greasy feel. Then of course we have our fragrance. Usually we know what fragrance is, we know what perfume is for, just to give it a pleasant smell rather. And now some people would want to use just one particular fragrance. It's fine, it's okay to do that, but for me, I don't like to use just one particular fragrance, so I'm going to be mixing about 4 or 5. But make sure that whenever you're mixing, you do your experiments properly, because there are some fragrances that have more effects than the other, so you have to be able to strike a balance between the fragrances that you're going to be using. We have our camphor. Camphor serves as the purifying agent. Then the color is just to give visual beautification. When something is colorful, you know how it looks ahead. So that is what the color is used for. Now I'm going to be telling us the quantities of ingredients we're going to be using for this 2.5 liters of air freshener. I'm going to be telling us the accurate quantity we're going to be using for the ingredients. First of all, we're going to be using 500 ml of methanol. Yes, just 500 ml of methanol. For the menthol crystal, we're using 1/4 teaspoon, 1/4 of a teaspoon for the menthol crystal. And the reason being that if it's too much for the quantity we are producing, it's going to give this choky feeling, which we're trying to avoid. Then for the industrial camphor, we're using just a teaspoon of industrial camphor. For the whitener, we're using 30 ml of whitener for our production. Then Texapon, 31.25 gram. Please always use a scale whenever you're producing anything. Always make use of a scale or your measuring cups. Make sure that you have scale or measuring cup. But for efficient measurements, make sure you have a scale. Then we have our color. Just add little. Don't add too much, because if you add too much, it can. If you're staying in a house painted white, it could start staining the walls. So just add very little quantity. I'm going to show you the blue I made previously, but today I'm going to be using yellow color. Then for the fragrance, we're going to be using just 250 ml of fragrance for the mixture. But if you're one person that would love to have something really strong, you can go ahead to increase your fragrance, but not so much. You can just add like 50 ml more to make it 300 ml. But for this quantity, I'm going to be using 250 ml of fragrance. Then we are going to be using 2 liters of water for the whole process. So I've gotten my gloves that I'm going to wear now for protecting my hands. Don't mind my big gloves, but prevention is better than cure. We're dealing with methanol here. So we have our 500 ml of methanol. Then we have our menthol crystal. We're using 1/4 teaspoon and tip of a teaspoon for the industrial camphor. We're going to turn it into the clean jar and shake for about 30 minutes so that the active particles of the menthol crystal and industrial camphor are going to dissolve completely into the methanol. So like I said, the 500 ml of methanol is going to go into the clean jar. Then I'm going to have to take off the gloves because it's quite inconvenient, measuring with the gloves on. So I'm going to put the 1/4 teaspoon of menthol crystal into the 500 ml of methanol that is already in the jar. Then after doing that, I'm going to take tip of a teaspoon of industrial camphor. Please note, tip of a teaspoon, and mix vigorously. Shake and shake for 30 minutes so that all components are going to dissolve completely. So after we've done the methanol, the menthol crystal and the industrial camphor mix, the next step is to use 500 ml of water to mix the 31.25 gram of Texapon to dissolve it completely. So we're going to stir that for about 20 minutes. Please note, when you're stirring, don't stir too hard, so that it's not going to foam, because we know that Texapon is a foaming agent. So if you're using all your power to stir it, it's going to keep foaming. You just stir gently. So after pouring the mix into the clean bowl, we're going to stir and go to the next step. I'm going to show you how. So this is the next phase where we're going to be mixing 31.25 gram of Texapon with 500 ml of water. Please note that you are not to stir too hard. Do not stir too hard to prevent your Texapon from foaming too much. Just stir gently. This video is on fast mode. That's the reason why it looks like this. So having done our methanol mix and Texapon mix, the next step we're going to move into is to transfer the remaining 1.5 liters of water. Remember, we're to use 2 liters, but we've used 500 ml to mix Texapon. So we're going to transfer the remaining 1.5 liters of water into our clean bowl so that we can induce all our other mix. So the Texapon mix is going to come in first, then the methanol mixture is going to come in after the Texapon mix. So this is me transferring the Texapon mixture into the 1.5 liters of water. Please note that you have to mix for a minimum of 5 minutes and on a gradual power strength, not too hard. Just mix gently for 5 minutes. Then after doing that, you transfer the methanol mixture into the water. That's the Texapon mixture and the 1.5 liters of water, and stir for 5 minutes as well before moving to the next phase. So after introducing our methanol mixture and Texapon mixture into the water, gradually we stirred the first one for 5 minutes, the Texapon mixture in the water, then the methanol mixture, we stir that one as well for 5 minutes. So that's 10 minutes in total. Please always take note of the time you're given to stir your ingredients so that everything is going to dissolve well into the water. So the next thing we're going to be doing is adding our whitener. We're adding 30 ml of whitener, but we're going to do it gradually so that it's going to blend with the mix. Please make sure that your whitener blends so that the air fresheners are not going to be separating afterwards. This is the next phase where we have to add our whitener to our mixture. That's the Texapon mixture and the methanol mixture. So I'm going to measure in 2 places, 15 ml each. So because we have to use 30 ml, please don't forget. So I've added the 15 ml initially to the mix. I'm going to stir till it blends completely before adding the next 15 ml to make our complete 30 ml mixture. So I'm adding the next 15 ml now, and I'm going to also stir completely and make sure it blends well before moving to the next phase. Please always stir your products well. Always stir your products well in order to avoid separation. The whitener is what is going to hold it together, so take your time to stir, please. So this next stage we're going into is for people that want to use color for their air fresheners. Please note that you have to mix gradually, and for this mix, because it's not up to 5 liters, I'm going to be using just 50 ml of water to mix. So if you want to produce say 10 liters of air fresheners, you know what to do, just multiply by 4. But this is 2.5 liters of air freshener. So if you want to do say 1.25 liters, all the ingredients that were listed today, you're going to divide by what? 2, like that. So the higher the quantity, just keep multiplying by the quantity of ingredients that were used for our production today. Like I said, I'm going to be adding 50 ml of water and a little quantity of color. I do not like my color to be too colorful, just to change the color from white to whatever I'm going to be using.
So I've already mixed the color and water together. I'm transferring it into the mixture, and you can see the cup, it's clean, means that it didn't settle.
So having mixed our color into the whole air freshener mix, the last step, which is the babambari, the most important of it all, is our fragrance. So because I'm not one person to use one particular fragrance, I'm going to be mixing fragrances like I said earlier. So I'm going to put in my mix into my measuring cup just to measure my 250 ml out, and turn it into this mix.
The fragrances I'm going to be using are my own key ingredients, so I'm not going to be listing, but I just want you to know that in this particular mixture there's lavender, there's ambipore, and some other fragrances. So I'm going to check to be sure that the chemicals are not too overpowering and they can blend well. The fragrances I dropped on the side, I dropped mango, I dropped lemon, because those are two overpowering fragrances, and I dropped banana as well. I have banana on the side that I didn't use. Then the other fragrances, I'm not going to be telling you what I used, but just know that it smells really amazing. So you can try as much as possible to experiment with different fragrances just to get an amazing mix, an amazing blend like I did here.
Having mixed my fragrances together, I have my 250 ml of fragrance or perfume, whichever one you want to call it. So I'm going to gradually mix it, as this is the last step of our air freshener. I'm going to just stir gradually to blend the mix completely into the air freshener mix. I need to stir for about, say, 5 minutes. So since this is the last step, I can always tell us what's required of us. Now that we are done with our air freshener production, you can see it's not too foamy, it's perfectly okay. If you'd like to keep it for a very long time so that all the ingredients can bond well, you can keep it for 7 days before you can package for this thing, commercial purposes. And if you know that you can't wait, you can just keep for like 24 hours. But please make sure that whatever you're doing, you keep your air fresheners for a period of time so that all the ingredients can bond before you sell it out. So I'm going to show us this result after I've kept it for 24 hours, which is going to be tomorrow. Have a good day, and I hope that whatever we use our air fresheners to do is really, really productive for us all. Thank you for staying with Ara, or Aloe by Ara. God bless you.